Every day on this channel, I go through everything Elon said on X in the last 24 hours. And here's how many times Elon posted about each subject today. And I know, based on the title of this video, this doesn't look like he is focused on Tesla. But this post from Elon certainly does. He was replying to Gregor Truck, who said, "Guys, Elon's tweeting about the stock. He's buying the stock. Daddy's home. Tesla is back." So Elon replied to him saying, "Daddy is very much home." And burning the midnight oil with Optimus Engineering on Friday night, then red-eye overnight to Austin, arriving 5 a.m., wake up to have lunch with my kids, and then spend all Saturday afternoon in deep technical reviews for the Tesla AI5 chip design. I fly to Colossus 2 on Monday to walk the whole data center floor, review transformers and power production, excellent progress, and then depart midnight. Then up to 12 hours of back-to-back meetings across all Tesla departments, but particular focus on AI and autopilot, Optimus production plans, and vehicle production delivery. Alexandra says, "Please avoid giving details on time and location. Your security team must go crazy." And Gregor Truck said, "I think this is all past tense scheduling. This isn't the agenda." And Elon replied to Rune, who says, "Is this real? This is a significantly better humanoid demo than anything I've seen from an American lab." Watch how fast it gets back up right here. Elon replies saying, "Optimus is twice the weight of Unitree's bot and almost impossible to knock over. And sustainable abundance is Tesla's new mission." And Peter Diamandis says, "A tough reality is that you won't hear sustainable abundance on the evening news, but it's the real story shaping our future." And Elon says, "Peter's relentless optimism is refreshing." And it was 6 months ago now that Tim Waltz celebrated the decline of Tesla stock on stage. And just an update, the stock is up 90% since he said this, by the way. And Elon has a laugh at that one. And Sawyer deleted this post, but he announced that Tesla was working on an XAI companion that was going to be exclusive to Tesla vehicles. And Elon said it's not true. But then Sawyer posted that Adam Jonas of Morgan Stanley just bought a 2026 Model Y to replace his 2021 Model Y. And he said the improvements in the car's design, materials, finish, suspension are very noticeable, as are the material improvements in FSD with Hardware 4 versus my prior Hardware 3. But the biggest upgrade for the car is hands down having Grok in the car with the long press of the microphone button on the wheel. I was already a Grok subscriber, but the in-car experience of X's virtual assistant is on another level. The boys and I love Grok the most. I just want to be friends with this dude. The end of month expiry of the $7,500 tax credit and the offer to carry over my FSD subscription to the new model is what compelled me. I filled out the paperwork over the Tesla app, and when I went to the Mount Kisco store to pick up the vehicle, the process took about 7 minutes. I walked in, they had my binder, walked me to the car, put the plates on and off, and I went. I forgot how easy the process of buying a Tesla is. It was easier than buying a bicycle, he said. And Elon reposted this. And a Royal Caribbean cruise ship is taking its Starlink connectivity to the limit after installing equipment capable of delivering up to 10 gigabits per second in satellite internet. The Star of Seas, one of the largest cruise ships in the world, has been outfitted with a Starlink community gateway, which can deliver 10 gigabits per second of symmetrical throughput, meaning it can supply up to 10 gigabits per second for both downloads and uploads. And Elon reposted it. And a lot of people thought on September 7th, when Elon posted, "You'll thank me later," he was talking about the $1 billion in Tesla stock that he recently bought. Warren Redlick says this is not about buying stock, this is about SpaceX. And Elon said, "Correct." And so Robin quoted this and he said, "So, is SpaceX actually getting a new drone ship?" Elon replied saying, "Watership to transport spaceship from Starbase to Cape Canaveral." So starships will be transported via the water from Starbase to Cape Canaveral. And so this SpaceX employee confirmed, "You'll thank me later." And Elon said, "Bullseye, that's what I was talking about." And they're just leveraging maritime logistics to bypass road transport limitations. And XAI is currently hiring engineers, as you can see. And Prudence says the reason women find funny guys so attractive is because it's the only intelligence metric that cannot be faked or cheesed or peacocked. Elon said, "Does making myself laugh count?" And Jan replied, "Is MacroHard an actual project that is currently underway?" And Elon said, "We are literally painting MacroHard on the roof of the Colossus 2 supercompute cluster in Memphis, big enough so you can read it from space." And the first US-born leader of the Catholic Church singled out the Tesla chief As an example of the kind of wealth he said was undermining the value of human life, of the family, of the value of society. He was criticizing the pay packages of Elon Musk. So Kyle Bass responds saying estimates of the total wealth of the Vatican approach 2 trillion, including all global assets and land. The Catholic Church owns 200 million acres of land across the world and enjoys tax exemptions almost everywhere. The church's endowment contains investments over $100 billion. So Elon gets biblical on the Pope, and he says, "Why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but do not notice the log in your own eye?" That's Matthew 7, verse 3 to 5. And Jeremiah Johnson says even most chronically online people have no idea how staggeringly, unfathomably big Roblox is right now. Roblox by itself has more monthly concurrent users than all of Steam, Xbox, and PlayStation combined. And Elon said, "Wow." And Peter Diamandis says many are uncertain about the future. Uncertainty breeds fear, and fear breeds irrational actions. Let me be clear. The future is better than you think. We are creating increasing abundance on Earth, extending the human health span, demonetizing and democratizing education, energy, and healthcare. This is the most extraordinary time ever to be alive. And Elon responds with a heart. I mean, if we can make tunnels with 0 people inside the tunnel, I think the future is going to be pretty cool. Farzad said they just made making tunnels look cool. And Elon reposted this. The limiting factor said, "Elon, can you please make the boring company engineers wear the Imperial Weapons Technician helmet?" And Elon had a laugh at that one with some flames. Now here's a recent survey of Harvard students. 32% of students say that using violence to stop someone from speaking on campus is acceptable, at least in rare cases. And Elon reposted it. And Attorney General Pam Bondi went on Katie Miller's podcast. Let's hear what she said.
There's free speech and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened to Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people so we show them that some action is better than no action?
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything, and that's across the aisle.
The rabbit hole replied saying, "Hate speech is just a fancy way to complain about mean words. Adults should have better things to worry about. If the issue is incitement of violence, then take the extra seconds to articulate that, but let's scrap the Orwellian idea of hate speech." And Elon said, "Exactly." And Matt Walsh quoted it and he said, "There should be social consequences for people who openly celebrate the murder of an innocent man. But there obviously shouldn't be any legal repercussions for hate speech, which is not even a valid or coherent concept. There is no law against saying hateful things, and there shouldn't be." And Elon said, "Well said." And don't forget what Charlie said. He said, "Hate speech does not exist legally in America. There's ugly speech, there's gross speech, there's evil speech, and all of it is protected by the First Amendment. Keep America free." Elon said that is correct, but there are many forms of speech that carry civil and criminal penalties. So you can say it, but there is a price to pay. And Ian says Chris Pratt is one of the few people in Hollywood that he actually likes. He's a good dude. A lot of people on the left have been calling on him to get fired by the production companies because he posted that he was praying for Charlie Kirk. And Elon agrees that he's a good dude, saying, "Yeah." Jason Calacanis says, "Okay, I've watched 40 Charlie Kirk videos at this point and none of them were outrageous. His opinions were the exact same as the Catholics I grew up with and was one. I disagree with many of those traditional beliefs, but none are shocking. In fact, they are extremely predictable for a Catholic." And Elon said, "Yup." Charlie Kirk's view was mainstream 20 years ago. Roberto circled Charlie Kirk in this image, where you can see that over the last 17 years, the left has gone further and further left, all the way to the point where they were looking through the scope of a sniper rifle back at the right. But you can see Charlie used to be slightly left, at least according to this opinion. But over the last 17 years, that has become what the left would call far right. And Elon says, "Yup." And Shu says the individual recording this is the spouse of Lieutenant Colonel Adam Cole, who is assigned to Fort Carson.
I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
Which one is it?
Taylor Swift! Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce got engaged! I have the best.
Elon replied to that video saying, "Insane." And Laura Becker says, "I am an ex-trans, ex-leftist who got my first mega hat at a Charlie Kirk event in Phoenix last year. Turning Point USA made me a patriot when they made a documentary about my detransition story. Thank you, Charlie, and Elon reposted it. And he also reposted that cancel culture is when someone gets fired for a meme they shared 10 years ago when in high school from an anonymous account. But getting fired for publicly supporting domestic terrorism and demonstrating that you're a threat to everyone around you is just real life in a civil society. And telling kids they can trans their gender isn't affirming, nor is it care. It's a lie and it's child abuse. People need to start going to prison for it. That's when it will stop. And Elon reposted it. And a transgender woman who exposed herself to a group of children in a Lancaster park has been jailed. That's a hell of a headline. Paul calls it an all-timer. And legacy media reporters remain baffled why nobody trusts them. Seriously, they are baffled. So Elon raises an eyebrow. And here's how Reddit would showcase the political spectrum in the United States. In the top left corner is people who are far left and authoritarian, and those would be good people, but everybody else is a Nazi. Elon says that's how they view it. And parents who believe in the reality of sex are being investigated by child protection services all over the country. They are losing their children for not bending the knee to the trans cult. You don't hear about it much because the courts gag the parents. My team and I wrote and submitted a proposed executive order for Donald Trump. Please retweet if you think parents should be able to raise their children as his or her sex. Now is the time to destroy the transgender agenda that is infecting our country. Elon quoted it saying, terrible. And here's a chart that shows the US criminal cases involving political violence by ideology. And the chart shows that people who align with the right are committing more violence. We looked at a similar chart yesterday. Ryan quoted it saying, I went through some of the sources of this chart and wouldn't you know there are dozens of examples not included of left-wing violence. Ryan says they have exactly 10 incidents of left-wing violence in all of 2020. Remember when the Minneapolis Police Department was set on fire? How about the murder at Capitol Hill? Yeah, also not listed. And Elon reposted it. And then someone else referenced the same chart saying right-wing attacks and plots make up a majority of political violence in the United States. Sean Fitzgerald said, in order to cook the books, they had to exclude the Black Lives Matter riots because they were nearly 600 in just the first 90 days after Floyd. Include Aryan Nation prison stabbings, white nationalists killing their ex over custody disputes, and throw black nationalist killings in with the right. Elon said, as the saying goes, there are lies, there are damn lies, and then there are statistics. These particular statistics are such a staggeringly massive lie that the creators of this bullshit should be sued to oblivion, publicly shamed, and given no credibility in the future whatsoever. And popular streamer Destiny refuses to condemn the assassination of Charlie Kirk, saying you need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed. He said on Piers Morgan that I won't condemn anything until Trump can go on air and say all of us need to calm down. But then on stream he said you need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature. Cernovich quoted this saying, why hasn't Amazon banned their streamer who has repeatedly called for conservatives to be murdered? You know this is on you, Jeff Bezos, right? Anything happens to one of us and you will be held personally responsible. Elon said, I don't think this jackass should be banned, but Amazon should stop paying him to incite murder. That's insane. Separately, incitement to murder and domestic terrorism is a felony crime. For that, he should go to prison. He can resume streaming when he has served his term. Phil posted 20 minutes of Destiny endorsing political violence. And then he said, if you just saw Destiny endorse political violence today, be advised that this is not a one-time thing and it's not new. Elon said, let him say what he wants, but then also pay the price under the law. And then today, Destiny posted that he's just been banned from Twitch. His entire income is now gone. And he blames Elon Musk and other conservatives for himself getting banned. But Grum says Destiny claims he was just banned on Twitch and blames Elon, but wasn't Destiny already banned on Twitch? Is this some kind of PR stunt? Elon says just tap the Grok logo to find out. And historical data shows he was already indefinitely banned. And someone on Reddit called for the killing of Asmon Gold. Kangmin Lee says Reddit bans you if you say men are not women, but allows you to call for assassinating any moderately right-wing person. Elon said this is messed up. And Wokeness says this is who just wrote a piece in the New York Times on political violence.
Kill them! Kill those motherfuckers! And murder those motherfuckers in the street! Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
Mally quoted that saying, just a reminder that I was suspended on Twitch for saying men can't become women. But this guy is their regular front pager. And the rabbit hole says the term far right has become so loosely applied that it's useless in sniffing out genuine cases of extremism, and more often it's just used to attack people. And Elon reposted this. He said the media is shamelessly far left, so everything looks far right to them. Kid Rock said the mainstream media is public enemy #1 right now. And Katie Miller quoted it saying they are the legacy media. We are the mainstream media. And Elon said bullseye. Stephen Miller says the path forward is not to mimic the American Civil Liberties Union of the mid-90s. It is to take all necessary and rational steps to save Western civilization. And Elon said yes. And Keir Starmer is the Prime Minister of the UK, and he said the party is over, Boris Johnson, resign. Chris Rose said the party is over, Keir Starmer, resign. And Elon said yes. Tommy Robinson's Unite the Kingdom rally was officially the biggest protest in British history, and he says we're just getting started. Over 45 million people have viewed his broadcast of the Unite the Kingdom rally, and Elon reposted it. And the former Japanese Prime Minister's own brother runs a company that profits directly from Japan's foreign labor program. For every immigrant worker hired, companies get subsidies up to $5,500 USD. That money flows into the support agencies, including the Kishida family business. They push mass immigration while calling it not immigration. In reality, it's family corruption and profit at the expense of Japan's future. Elon responds with 2 exclamation marks. And people are wondering how the Charlie Kirk assassin suspect and his trans lover afforded rent in the large St. George, Utah apartment if neither appeared to work full-time. The home was owned by Twig's family partnership, Unmasking Luna, and Elon reposted the link to this article. And he also reposted Katie Miller's full podcast with Attorney General Pam Bondi. So that is everything that Elon said today. It was cool to see his schedule and how many Tesla-specific meetings he has. As Gregor Truck speculated, I hope that's his weekly schedule or something and not his agenda for the next few days. We definitely don't want him giving away his location. You might be wondering how he still is able to have his finger on the pulse of so many different political stories that he covers. I'm afraid I don't have the answer to that. Although we do know about Elon that he has a maniacal focus, and I think he recognizes that multitasking is impossible. So he's not kind of doing something and while he's on his phone over here. When he goes on Twitter, he is on Twitter. He is focused and he is efficient. And when he's at his meetings, he's focused and efficient. But that's all for today. And if you guys want to get early access to these videos or you just want to support the channel, you can do so by joining the channel as a member. And I'll see you guys tomorrow.